so good. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
I literally I played around with it a bit. I ran it on two clients, and yeah, I like it, but it doesn't, honestly, it doesn't give that points system that you were
That
talking
was
about.
exactly what I was going to ask, if it showed that, but it doesn't.
No, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. I may message them and ask them if it's like if they have it on their radar to do.
William, you know what that is?
Yeah, that's a jacket.
Yeah.
For something we like to call winter or something. I don't know.
That's actually the jacket from A Christmas Story.
Ah, yeah. Now that you say that.
Yep. So the guy wearing it's my brother. So
Hey, you told me. I remember, that's how I first met him. I did one of my engagement posts, and I said, "What's your favorite Christmas story?" You know, and you came on there and said, "Well, actually, this one." And my brother was in it, and I was like, "No," and you're like, "Yep," and I just couldn't believe it. So
yeah, actually, so I was in it. I was in grade 2 at the time, and we all got paid $1.
what?
Yep. Oh, it's actually
Back in the day, $1 would have been a lot, though.
oh yeah, it was, and as it was funny. So the director, the way he got around that, and he actually caused so many legal battles. That movie actually caused the whole the union for actors to become so much more strenuous because of what he did in that film.
Wow.
He made a crap ton of money, and it was insane. Like, but
sounds like kind of my first website I ever did, because you just think of different ways to do stuff. I remember the first website not the first one, but the first one I ever did, and I was taught how to do websites outside of AOL, was my Professor John Downs, and he goes, "We're doing a website," and I go, "I want to make a freaking dog breeder directory." And lo and behold, I didn't think about how damn hard that is, because it's like a lot of pages. This is before WordPress. So, and I literally did this. I hired my classmates.
nice.
I made a template, and then I had them clone the template for all the dogs. And
That's
then
awesome.
I had the biggest site, the most paid for site, and I got it done faster because I used my classmates. And he's like, "You weren't supposed to use like your classmates to do it." I said, "You didn't say that, bro. It wasn't in the rules. You just said get it done. I got it done."
Nice. That's hilarious.
Just find different ways. Think outside of the box. There is no box.
Yep, that's true. It's funny. He's actually the creator of Porky's, and he did the Christmas Story, which is
Oh my God, I cannot believe that. I remember Porky's from that's like, I mean,
ages ago.
Oh,
yeah. Yep.
Like my goddaughter, my first goddaughter, she's now in college, and I'm like, y'all make me feel old as dirt. I mean, old. My daughter is now a mother with a grandchild, and it's just like,
nice. Hey,
but I feel old. But I'm like, whatever. It's like, that's one thing, the biggest thing y'all asked me yesterday about being in the Philippines. I love it, but there are days it's like I miss my family. But then when I was there, it was like y'all wouldn't come see me, but maybe, I live 5 miles away, but they'd come see me, let's say once a month, so I miss them. But my mom and dad, they're in their 70s, so they're getting older, and it's like, I didn't want to live and that's the thing. One of the biggest reasons why I wanted to move here too was I went, my wife's mom is like almost 70, and she's getting older. And over here, as you get older, it's not a good thing because the healthcare is not as good if you have health issues, and she does have health issues. And I just could not, quote unquote, live with myself if something was to happen to her mother. And I had her. I'm the reason she's there, so I was like, I need to bring her here, come over here, and I'm here, and now I'm feeling the exact opposite. There are many days I'm like my dad, especially because my mom's in good health. My dad, he's got high blood pressure and all these other things because he's a stressed out old white man. So, but I love him. And I've tried to actually, I told them, say, y'all need to retire and come over here. And they're like, nah, I like America too much and everything else. So, and he's a good old, my dad's anybody in military here is Semper Fi. So he's Marine Corps, Devil Dog.
Nice.
So he's definitely hardcore, patriotic type. And, but he also, I told him, you'd love it. It's the jungle. You love the outdoors and woods. Ain't got to deal with noise or nothing. At least where I live at, because I live on top of a mountain. So I'm serious. I could have I lived in the city. I hate the city. When she wants to go in the city, I'm like, no, it's the devil. I hate the city. Yeah, when I last left the States, I was in West Virginia. So that should tell you. I mean, look up Paw Paw. I mean, the sticks. Paw Paw, West Virginia. I was purposely away from everybody because I did not like being around people. But so Sean's going to go ahead and present some Bright Local, and then of course we'll do Ask Me Anything and ask questions. Some of y'all been emailing me some various questions. If I have not gotten to you, I apologize. As you can understand, I'm pretty busy, but I always want to take as much time as possible to answer any questions. Next week, we're having Jeff come on. Jeff's got over 40 years experience in marketing in general, not just running a business, but actually marketing everything from social media management, web design, SEO, a little bit of everything. So, and this is a man I glean a lot from, and I've learned a lot from, just like, and I find things that different people tell me, and I pick up. That's why I always ask for everybody's, input, because that's not about me. Paul, for example, one of the things I've learned from him is, hey, you need to start doing interviews once a week or at least often with different people, different businesses, expand your network, do joint ventures, stuff like that. If I could get my other Facebook rolling, that's my plan. So just pick up different things from different people, but Jeff's going to build, he's got so much knowledge. I could have him on here talking for hours on end. So, but Sean's going to present today, and we're going to go Bright Local. After that, any other questions y'all have, just ask them. Just raise your hand. If you cannot raise your hand, just kind of do like this if you got to. But go ahead and let Sean go for it.
Can you enable sharing for me?
Yep.
I'm not by any means a great presenter, folks, but I saw this and I use Bright Local just because the reports honestly are they're really good, as in the sense where they're pretty. I don't know if any of you have used Bright Local before, but this just came out and I was like, okay, cool. Like, let's it was because I was about to drop it and then go to just go to actually Local Falcon or Viking. But the one feature I do like, you click on any one of your keywords and it pulls it up just like Local Falcon, but it gives an average of what you are, like how many in green and that, but it doesn't give the point rating that I did see. Like I didn't see it as good as everybody else, but as you can see down here, it goes through and puts the person in a place, which I'm getting there. It's not as green, but hey, I just started with them. And on a side note, this one right here, the third one that says Jamie's Auto, that's his old company. That was his before it got taken away from him by his old business partner. but I end up getting it, the GMB and the website. So we're going to build out the original, as you mentioned in one of your other classes, build out the original website and use it as some
Awesome.
good backlinks. So, but as you can see in Bright Local, it gives some pretty good information here, showing the maps as well. Also to all the reviews and everything like that. But I'd like to show just the reports on how it all goes. I don't know if you all seen that as well, but let me go to back here. And I'll go to the external, what the client would see. So this goes right out and it's all white labeled to you. So you can actually get the nice rankings every bit. I think there's the grid actually now. They've just added this in. So as you can see, I'm starting to do better with this keywords. It looks really good. You can track up to 100 keywords. Also too, William, as you told me, you didn't like using them for citations, but I found out they do give you all the login credentials. They do it for you and they give it all to you as well.
Yeah, they do. Because I've had to log into some of them.
Because that's what you made me really ask that question, because I agree. You need control.
I know, like Yext. I know, like Yext.
I don't like Yext at all.
They're
But
horrible.
As soon as you stop paying, and I've had other agencies, very large agencies, try to say that's not the case. I said it's in black and white. It's in ink.
I had a client this fall drop Yext, and I had to then go in and clean up. It was a mess, and they lots of just duplicates, and I could see where stuff reverted back. So yeah.
How much do they charge for the citations?
Yes.
$2.
Well, the one I was working with, they didn't actually go directly to Yext. They went to like a third party that like said they were doing a lot of other things, which they weren't really, and they were charging like $300 a month.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was and they still do. I know it's they do all kinds of things that I don't agree with.
No, but Bright Local, how much do they
Bright
do?
Local, it depends on what you can order them. There's the aggregates that you can order, and I want to say that if you get all 4, it's like $65, but it's based on the country. Then you can add packages. Yeah, here it is right here. So like a package of 25 is like $75. Then if you add the aggregate, remove duplicates, you can get it for not too terribly much. But I always then have to go in and check afterwards and do work by hand.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. So like when you go in and do this, don't think that like it's all done. And you've got to go in afterwards. So don't just, add a little bit of buffer onto it. You're going to spend time working on it.
Okay. Because I was basically, once I go through, like, I want to get the Bing one here fixed. Obviously I want to get those errors.
For Bing. Go into Bing and log in and connect your Google My Business, and it will, you can handle it that way. You don't pay for that because yeah, sorry.
No, that's awesome.
This is helpful, but yeah, don't pay for Bing.
Yeah. Well, and then
use that credit for something else.
Yeah. And also too, it's only one-off, right? You don't have to pay like Yext a monthly.
Correct.
And which I love.
That's the important part, because Yext, you don't own it. If there is a login, you own it. Some of these, there isn't a login. So, with Yext, they basically take it over, and while you pay them, they basically are the ones managing it and making the changes to it. And that's, you pay a monthly fee. And, I don't like Yext at all, but most of my clients are small local businesses. If there's somebody with a franchise, or has a lot of business locations, maybe Yext might be good for them, but I don't deal with this kind of clients, so that's why I really don't like it.
Yeah. Actually, it's I'm in Canada, so this is Canadian based, US based, and UK.
And I would definitely look to the aggregates. they are different depending on what country you're in. So make sure when you're looking at the aggregate that you're getting the ones for, because see, like you only have 2 aggregates. In the US, I think I have 3 or 4. They have, it used to be 4, and I want to say some of them got bought out and merged. So
Info Group got bought out.
Yeah, by Data Axle. And then, oh my gosh, somebody said they got a call from text today. The monthly charge was $400. Wow. Yeah, so like I think in the US there's going to be a 3rd one, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. So it's based on which country, how many of those data aggregators there are.
But this rate here, honestly, like for the credits, the one-offs, I know you can get Fiverr gigs, and they'll do like this stuff for all of them for like, you know, like $40 or something, and then you could bill it your client a couple times. Just the way I like to do it is I'll do one bill to the client, and then I'll add in every month I'll add in a couple extra citations just to get them, just as an added part for them. But it's honestly, it's been a good thing. The other part I like about Bright Local is their reputation display, how they this literally, like as you can see, my client, we've been going very well with he's at 126. He's just a small garage, 3 mechanics, and you actually can showcase, that's what they call it, sorry, showcase. So you can make a carousel, so you get that, which is a nice little where you can customize it and then put it right on their site.
Done that.
I like that one. Also too, they have their lead generator. I like this one. You get 20 per month, and all the person has to do is put in, you actually can do this for some of your clients too. You put in their email address and their name, and then it'll actually pull up, it will actually do a full, I know it is a report, but it will do a full analysis for them. So, which is a nice little feature. It's like those, it's nice, quick and easy things like that. Like it does an audit. So it'll do like on page and so on and so forth. But
the other thing I saw whenever you were pulling up the heat map, if you go back to the heat map, there was something that I don't think you might not have saw, but go back to the heat map. I want to show you. And I'm not telling y'all what to do or not do when I say this. I
have a question about this when we look at this too.
Yep.
Oh, I think I went to the wrong one. One sec.
You know how you can report someone for spam or being a spam listing? Since I get accused of being a spammer, but it's funny. Nevertheless, if you look at this sheet, when it pulls up this heat map, it's going to show you all your competition. Go down, 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 down. When it showed, there you go. Look at that flag over here for spam if you think they're spam.
Oh, that I think, is that, well, that's new because I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, actually, that's the first time I've seen this too.
So normally you have to go into readdressal form in, Google, because what will happen is besides the sheet that I already have and I've already uploaded it back into the course, what I do is I go, okay, because I don't report just anybody just because I'm trying to quote unquote get to the top. There are people that do that. I have been accused of doing that, even though I do not do that. What I do is I go, let's say if it looks spammy, I will go in and check them. What's their business name? What's their legit business name? What's their LLC? And yeah, if I'm in the area, I'll report you. And I have gotten, for them, unfortunately, some people take it down. And will they lose their rankings and will they lose their reviews? Yes, they will, unless they get it put back up.
On that note, William, actually, while you mentioned that, there is one. I just want to show you this, and then it's a company so Toronto is a metropolitan, which is an hour and a bit away from where we are. And this one right here, so I'll pull up the exact same heat map, but you'll see this company is in spot 1 and they don't have a store here.
Yeah.
So I could use that
Are they a service area
Yeah, they
business,
could
a
be.
sob?
No,
Okay, then not personally. If it's me,
Yeah,
and just
I would
me, if
right
I would,
there, cheaper.
do some checking on their listing and their website just to make sure, and then make sure
that's
that
what I mean. If you look at the spreadsheet on the back end of the, in the course, I have a spreadsheet for reporting spammy listings. And basically all I do is I go through what's their business name, what's their address, what's their phone number, is it legit? If it's a legit, I'll leave it alone. If it's not a legit, I'd use the Google readdressal form. In this case, since they have this and you're using Bright Local, you can automatically just do it right there in Bright Local.
I'm interested to see what that does though in Bright
Yep.
Local. That'd be interesting. I'll try
Yeah,
it.
I always use the readdressal form, and then I'll send it over to Molly too. So,
Yeah.
I don't. There are a lot of people that just go in there and let me mark everybody that's above me spam, and that's just A, it's not cool, and B, it's not going to work.
I have a question about how, so he's got here, the keyword is new appliances. Since we're doing like local search, would you include, and did you say Toronto, Sean? Would you include that in this search or no?
Personally, me, I do both.
So you would do one with and one without?
I do both.
Okay.
You'll get different readings for the most of the time. I mean, if you think of it, for me, I mean, new appliances is just a very broad term.
Okay.
And I would rather do, if I'm in this case, let's say I'm in Niagara Falls, I would put in new appliances Niagara Falls and see where their rankings are at as well. Because a lot of people actually, I mean, it's not just ranking wise. If I'm in Niagara Falls, I knew what I did when I lived in the States. So I would type in, let's say furniture Jacksonville, or furniture West Virginia, or furniture store near Paw Paw, furniture store near Niagara Falls, stuff like that. That's what people are going to look for. Most people ain't going to go appliance repair. I mean, just from what I've seen, that's just me, but
so here, let's just
completely wrong. So
we'll do exactly what you just said. So I'll add in appliance St. Catharines, because that's where they're located. And then I'll add, and I did 7, and I think it's 2.5 kilometers, because that covers our whole city. And I'll go 11. There we go. And enable the white label version, and we'll go update. See what it does. They give you 2,000 credits every month, so.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I couldn't remember. So good, yeah.
It changes the report, rerun the report. Well, obviously I reran the report. Rerun. Well, I'm glad they didn't actually charge us more. So it's $79 a month and USD, and you get 100 accounts, so many reports and stuff like that. Like, I just like it for, like I said, it connects to your GMB. You can actually, there's just so many nice little features into it. But that was the one I was about to dump it until you said that, William, about I asked that question, and they said no, they give you all the login details for the citations, which that's why I stayed.
I remember someone mentioned Bright Local to me before, and that's what I told them. I said, I know Yext does it. From what I remember seeing, Bright Local does not. It's just a matter of it's just more expensive to me.
Yeah, I researched before I have done any citations with Bright Local to make sure that, because I definitely didn't want to. The other thing is with Bright Local, you can connect other things like some social media stuff for it to kind of do an overall social brand reporting, which is good to see how you're doing that way as well. And then there's another step down. I think you're at the 79. There's like one that's 49 if someone doesn't have that many clients and they want a cheaper version. There's two other, I can't remember. I think the lowest level like probably is only if you've got one business. And then there's a $49 one too.
Yep. So
Quick question. Sorry. For that, so I'm looking at their pricing. You said that you're paying the $79 per month. For the local SEO tools, it says local search ranking report 100. Is that 100 clients or 100 different type of reports?
you know what? Here, let me pull it up, and I think that's the 100 clients that it was.
So like 100 GMBs, let's say, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Specific locations. That's what you get.
And then you are able to specify your competition and everything for the local grids as well. And
correct.
then for every keyword that you are looking at your ranking, it also gives you the comparison for the competition.
Yeah, and it also gives you, so the citation tracker, you can do up to 50 reports. Then it breaks it all down. So what you're talking about, the ranking reports, that's actually 100 clients, so 100 locations. And then they give you a price where you can buy more credits if you have above and beyond that. And then you can monitor up to, 50 locations for reputation, for reviews. I don't understand why it's not 100 and 100 for everything. It doesn't really make sense to me. But the white label factor, which is nice, where you can now brand it towards your business. And then it looks really good. As you can see, like the one report that I had, it had all the nice reports, which you don't have to give every single one of them for your client. You can attach what you want. The biggest things I sell are, I'm starting harder on SEO and GMB really to rank. Obviously I'm this course. And the other is really pushing reputation management. And it works really well to get your foot in the door. And I just like those little key points. Like
you could do that. You could do that. Another way to get your foot in the door is, I mean, honestly, you could do a screenshot of their GT metrics or page speed.
That's actually the one I just used.
And you'll get in and just literally, you could either charge them or just, I mean, with those two plugins, honestly, I'd almost do it just to get my foot in the door and get in goodwill, but that's just me, and I do crazy stuff. So you could do, hey, I feel like doing 10 of these free this month. And if you sign up 1 or 2, I can guarantee it's going to pay for the very little bit of time it's going to take you to do it.
Oh yeah.
The same thing with audits. The reason why I was doing those live audits in the groups that you could do as well is those live audits. Out of 10 people, I'll sign up at least 4 or 5. When I was first building out, I was doing those at least once a week. Then after 3 months, I literally stopped. So that's one thing. So
how's that look?
Beautiful.
What is that you would put in? Is that the new one with the St. Catherine's? Okay, good.
Yeah.
The grass is nice and green.
So I'm doing something right then. Okay, good. Because when I do my rankings, I do push with the city exactly how you said. So these two right here, the top two, they're in a major buying group, and they actually have a huge marketing budget between them. And
now number 1 is that Goman's Appliance St. Catherine's.
Yep.
I would check them out on that name and just do some research on their GMB, look at their phone, look at their website, and see if that's really their name.
No, it's their location.
Well, then you need to do a redressal report.
Redress it.
And so that their name changes to what it actually is.
Sweet. I can't wait.
Definitely do that. And scroll down to where you had some of the others there.
Nobody else
Or-
is in
Oh,
contention.
did you have like, were there weren't a list? Okay, that was the other one then.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
the
they
other
put,
one's Nickerson.
Okay. Yeah. So like, yeah. And also I would do like, when you look at the other maps with the other keywords and just see who's above you. But yeah, that definitely, that Goman's appliance, that looks like name spam that you should report.
That's the only one I see too. That's unusual.
But definitely research and double check it before you report it.
oh, I know them. I know where they're located. I used to live in St. Catharines, so that it's just Goman's Appliances, and that's it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see after you flag it here in Bright Local, like what happens.
I'm gonna do it, and I'll let you know,
Yes,
Trisha, for
definitely.
sure.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I love doing kind of this so you can guys all see it and whatnot. But at least I'm doing something right. I'm so happy. Actually, these guys have been a client
That's
for
good. You
8
can show
years.
them this and they should be happy with that.
Yep. Awesome. Well, I'm glad I got to show you guys this. But like I said, I'm enticed to now stay with Bright Local just for that fact of the heat maps. For 2,000 credits, I think I can do like about 3 keywords just to show their main ones and get that hook in. And their competitors and whatnot, I think would be a good one.
You want to see how we do a readdressal form?
Yeah,
Paul's
sure.
got his hand raised up instead of Brock. Let me pull up the readdressal form before. Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead, Paul.
Just a thought. All this flagging and readdressal forms. Instead of, I mean, this might come off wrong, but instead of worrying about that, why don't we just get better at our own game? Why are we going to go and flag people and shit on someone's day when really, it's up to us to get better at what we do? So just get better at it. I mean, you might be flagging a guy who's got a real business going on. And I don't know, I just have a fundamental disagreement with reporting and
I think that that you would do it because you should be on a level playing field. It's not going to get, like, if they get reported, Google may go in and just change and correct it. It could, several different things could happen. And then if it just corrects it to their correct business name, then they're getting higher in the rankings because they have that in there and you don't.
And that's
But
against the terms and conditions,
I
right?
also understand what both of he's saying.
Yeah.
So I've had other people, for instance, I'm going to give you, I believe, Paul's take on this. Okay, for instance, I teach lead generation and I teach Black Hat SEO and I teach things that are a violation of Google terms and services. But here's the deal. What Paul's telling us, number one, just get better at what you're supposed to be doing in the first place and you'll outrank them. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. For instance, and I'm just giving you, I'm playing the devil's advocate in this. For instance, people go into GMB and they report me. Why do they report me? Because I'm getting the most attention. That's the only reason they're pissed off. They want to say, I've had people say, for instance, Bill only teaches spammy tactics. And yet here I am telling y'all you can use the readdressal form. It don't sound like all I do is go, let's do spammy tactics, okay? Because if I was only doing spammy tactics, I wouldn't tell you use a readdressal form. I wouldn't give you a sheet saying how to check out someone if they're doing spammy listings. That's number one, okay? But the thing is, these people, what'll happen is you'll get people, okay, I want to be number one. There are a shit ton of other stuff you can do to be number one besides wasting your time on a prayer that Google may actually pay attention to you. Number one, if Google was actually going to pay attention to you, they would already have taken care of this shit, which they don't. That's number one. The only time I will ever do it is if all you do is you'll see 3 and 4 and 5 different listings in that area, all owned by the same person, all the same damn name, all dominating the GMB, right? To me, that's just ludicrous. I mean, but why are you going to do all that? Now, when you have one person like this, and I see Paul's point of view too. This guy, you got to think about all this stuff and consequences and ethics in your mind. Okay, this guy may have a family. This may got that. This he has employees to feed. And here's the deal. And I understand what most people are going to think is like, well, he shouldn't be doing this. Google terms of service. Blah 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 blah. Well, you got to think of it this way. You could do this and fuck his whole world up. Not just his, but everybody else's. You could do this, and then his business goes down the tubes, and now he can't pay his employees. They can't put, I mean, these are all just different things. And I understand that now, if it's black and white and you're cool with it, do it. If you're not cool with it, don't do it. You know, it's up to you really. But now I know specifically, like when you start getting in lead generation and other things, you know, there are things that we just do just to get the rankings and do what it takes. But I also tell people the same token, you'll hear me say this, if you're going to violate Google terms of services, you better be doing it the right way. Because otherwise, when someone like me comes along and goes smack and you get reported, don't come crying, you know, because if you're going to put a location or a keyword in there, you better have the legitimate DBA or LLC.
Yeah.
But the same token, I'll also say what Paul's saying is true. I used to have people when I played poker get mad at me, okay, because I would outbeat them and do stuff that they were like, they get pissed off and want to report you and want to call the floor and all this. And he's like, you know, the one guy, he said, well, I get mad at him, just get better than him. He just beat you at your own game. That's a fact. It's just reality is, yeah, it's against Google's terms of service, but guess what? As long as I can get away with it, I'm going to get away with it. You know, so I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate, and I'm showing y'all both viewpoints because I see both viewpoints.
Yeah,
you know?
I was just gonna point out that if they're using the city name St. Catharines in their GMB, I mean, Sean can just simply add it to his client GMB as well, just to have that same level of playing field. If that is what you're looking for, you don't have to just go and attack 10 different GMBs and 10 different business owners if they have the city name in there. If Google comes back at your GMB, you can tell Google that, hey, all these other GMBs have it as well.
And
if you're
Google
gonna
kind of laugh at that because it's against the terms. The thing is that you're going and reporting it should not completely delete the business from Google unless it's not actually a business. It will simply change and remove the name spam.
No, sometimes that doesn't happen. Sorry. No, because I've dealt with Google support. They don't even know the Google guidelines to the level that like some of us know. Because some of them are new hires. They don't know what they're doing, and they just see it as a ticket base. They see a ticket base, they'll suspend it versus correcting it.
They'll see a what now?
So they'll see a ticket. It's like a ticketing system.
Yeah. The ticket comes up and basically says, hey, this is spam. And if the person really don't give a shit, and most of them don't, they just go, boom, take it down. And now here's what happened. The only way that person can get all those rankings, see, and it's not just about that. Okay, let's say I'll tell you the scenario. They take it down, right? They take it down. Step one, you just effed up his rankings for a minimum of 3 months. Minimum. So for 3 months, he's going to have to fight to get his rankings back. That's number one. So let's say it takes it down and it corrects it and he does come back. You know, he could sometimes lose his reviews. He can lose other important information that were data points inside of it because they flagged it as a spammy listing. So therefore, it's almost the whole listing is now red flagged. They're going to look at it like maybe it's right, maybe it's not. We'll put it back just because he can prove his business name, but he's still going to be penalized. I've seen it happen before. I've taken some down myself. And then I've had people be like, you know, you can't be quote unquote selling, you know, because, you know, you can't be selling, if you will, GMB tactics and then reporting them on the same hand. Until I'm saying, you know, I understand what you're saying. I understand both sides. You know, my thing as well is like Google, like for instance, what Paul's saying about reporting. You can report negative reviews all you fucking want, but I could guarantee you wasting your goddamn time.
Yeah, most of the time that's
You
absolutely.
know, because unless their name is F off, I guarantee you're not going to get removed. Because out of almost all the reviews I've ever reported, the only ones I've ever had removed is where they're using foul language,
Yeah.
or just saying this is a white racist bastard. You know, that's the only way you're going to get it removed, is if you use those terms. If it just says Paul's services sucks, Paul's the worst marketer, William's the worst marketer, he uses Fiverr people, blah 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 blah, never used my services in my life, they don't give a shit. And if Google, and I'm just being honest, if Google takes your stuff down and you don't have someone like in your back pocket where you deal on a daily basis, that's like, you know, Google expert. See, like Molly, she's like a gold or platinum Google expert. These other guys in these groups that want to come in there and talk and run their mouth all the time, they're silver. I could show you, here's a button, you click it, you become a silver Google product expert. You're nothing. Now, if you have someone like Molly and someone does this to you, you show Molly gets you re-put up, but you're still going to be down for about 3 months in rankings.
You know what I was going to say?
Suffering. You know, it's not that easy. Yeah.
In regards to adding the city name to the business name, you know, if your competition's doing, you know, first of all, your clients are paying you to do, you know, the job right. They assume that you're not going to be violating any, you know, rules and agreements, and to make sure that their listing is listed.
Correct.
You know, so you've got X number of hours that you should be spending on a client, and to be outdoing someone just because they're violating, you know, rules and policies doesn't make sense. That'd be like me saying, oh, you know what, my neighbor is growing weed, well, I'm going to grow weed too because I want to buy a nicer car.
Well, Jarek, I'll counter that. For instance, I have clients, they're saying, I'm paying you so my phone starts ringing, not so I start showing up number one. And sometimes if you want to show up number one, putting the city name in the title of the GMB, you may have to, because the client wants to pay bills, pay the employees, and make enough income for their family, right?
Yeah, sure. But the minute you start doing that, you know, that everyone's going to start doing the same thing because one person's doing it, and then it's just going to mess up the whole market. Like, you know, I know we're trying to do the best ranking we can, but there are certain rules that we all should follow.
For sure, because it comes down to where your client is. For instance, if you were to Google right now, New York furnace repair, you'll be surprised, and good luck ranking for that keyword, New York furnace repair. So every region is different, cities are different, but just Google New York furnace repair and you'll be shocked that it's legion after legion after legion, and the GMBs are exact match. And in all of them, you can easily tell that it doesn't exist in the area. It has a physical address, and it's just a legion with business.site website.
Hire someone on Fiverr and have them report every single one of them. That's what I would do.
If you're beating your client and they're not a legitimate business, then your client is paying you to then, I would think, report them if they're.
For sure. But that's what I'm saying. Like, the market will tell you, should you report or should you play a somewhat fair ground game?
One of the things that there's a couple of things. Number one, I mean, I could play the devil's advocate all around all day long with this stuff. But number one, like Jarek is talking about, for instance, I'll tell you this, for instance, I'm a straight black hat. You know, you're going to get smacked eventually. You know, you can report them now. Trust me, eventually Google is going to get them, because eventually Google gets to the point where they say, you know, I'm not going to deal with it no more. And you see this all the time when they do the updates, especially like upcoming one, I believe in March or May, I believe, one of the two. They're coming out and they'll do an update, and then you'll see all these people doing certain tactics go plummeting, and then they come back, or they stay gone altogether. One thing Graham is mentioning, which I totally agree with, same thing, like why I'm diversifying, especially like on social media, is if your business is solely relying upon your GMB ranking, you shouldn't be in business in the first place. Because if you're only looking to get ranked on GMB and you're only relying on that, you are going to be in a world of hurt, because this is why I tell people all the time, I don't just do GMB SEO. I'll get someone ranked on Google, Bing, Yahoo, every which angle I can hit, so I can bring in the leads and calls. But I just seen, that he had talked about that, in regards to Graham.
And also, you own your you should own your website and your email marketing, your phone number. Those are, you don't own Google, you don't own Facebook, you don't own Bing. So you use those, but you always have to know that when they make algorithm changes, any of that stuff, your stuff will go up and down.
Yeah. And that's the point. And also what Jarek's talking about, okay, if you're dealing with your clients, for instance, and you're going to go do something, and I'm not talking, we're just talking about this in general, okay, and you're going to turn around as an agency, you're supposed to be handling your client according to Google terms and service. This is a totally different subject, but you're supposed to be handling according to Google terms and services. If you're not, and they get taken down, and I've seen this happen, in my humble opinion, if you're violating terms of services and the client doesn't know about it, please stop doing any sort of marketing whatsoever. Because what happens is then you get these people's people's businesses and livelihoods and families in your hand, and you don't give a shit about it, and I've seen this happen many a times. Now, when someone comes to me, if you ever have come to me, you'll hear this. And and I've had clients ask me, hey, I want this person taken, I want you to do whatever it takes to get me on the front. And I'll tell them and say, this is what I can do. And I'll list everything out. This is all against Google's terms and services. Now, if your shit gets taken down, it's on you, not on me. And I have it all in documentation. So, and the thing is, because a lot of guys out there I'll just get you on top however I got to do it. And especially with some rank and rents, because I've heard this, and they'll do whatever it takes. And then whenever they get knocked down, then their client's like, oh my God, the phone calls will stop. What happened? Well, I'm sorry, I put the location in there and that was against the Google terms and services. Then, we got our hand caught in the cookie jar. What do we do? Well, we got to start all over. And that's going to take 3-4 months or however long it's going to take. And now this person's got to pay their bills still, feed their families and employees for the next 3 or 4 months. And guess who's responsible for that shit? It's you, not them, you, because you did something you weren't supposed to be doing in the first place, without their knowledge. Now, if it's with their knowledge, it's on them, in my humble opinion. And but most of the people, most typical clients, they're not going to know better. Out of, let's say, 50 something clients that are actually business owners, maybe I've had 4 of them know SEO and know what black hat SEO and tactics are. In the same breath, I'll also tell you, well, one of the number one factors in ranking is your location and keyword in your actual business title. So that's why I also tell you, in the same breath, go get a DBA and LLC with it if you're going to do it. That way, when you get caught, you can prove that, yes, this is my legitimate business name, because that's what's going to matter. If you could prove that you're a legitimate business, then they'll put it back up, So let's move on. Brock.
Yeah, this is a much less controversial question. I just wanted to ask. I'm using leads generated, and that's hooked up to GMBs on the API side. Is it a bad thing to hook your GMB up to multiple APIs? That's all I wanted to ask.
I do not. I've heard. I use leads generated. I just don't. I've seen people, other agencies do it, and but there's other things I don't do for the same reason. Let's say all your GMBs are hooked up to that one API. One of them gets flagged for spam. One of them gets knocked down. You could possibly lose all of them.
For sure.
So you're saying the same thing can be said for having let's say 100 plus GMBs underneath one Google account. One of them gets spammed, they can all get knocked down Because
Sure.
then one of them gets red flagged, then Google can come in there and go, let me look at all of them, and then just start flagging every damn one of them. That's
So you
why
don't
I use multiple accounts to handle all of mine. And I've never, and I say this, never, ever, ever, ever had one flagged for spam, never one needing a reinstatement, never one being taken down, nothing. I've had people come to me and want their help because they got it, flagged by someone or need a reinstatement. Then I have to say, well, go to Molly, like I've done with Anthony before, and said, hey, go to Molly, she'll hook you up, and
Right.
taking care of it, not because of anything, not of my clients, not one.
Yes. So this Bright Local, you can have up to 100 GMBs connected. You wouldn't even think about putting them all under one API.
I do not for several reasons. Number one, of what I just told you. Number two, the sheer fact, the cost. My VAs can do it for much cheaper.
Right.
I'll knock out, you can get a VA, and I have a couple that were on my old friends list. They'll do close to 100 and something citations, with all those citations plus the other ones for about half the cost of what it would cost you to do it with Bright Local without the monthly fee.
So
Now,
run all the GMBs through.
That being said, the reason why these platforms are so good is because you can white label them and send reports to your clients of how many reviews you got, your social media, and your rankings and your reporting and all that. That's why most of them are very good. And I agree with that. It's just a chance for me, it's A, the chance I'm not willing to take, and then B, it's cheaper for me to do it the other way. But let's go on, Lou.
So all GMB management through the dashboard is what you prefer, what you do. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Luke.
Hey, William. So I just had a question. So I've been adding like the GMB posts every day this week, and I'm sort of turning each one into a new page in the site, like you were talking about. So if I start adding like a new page for each keyword, and I have the service pages like you did with the red, with the clearly eye care.
Yep.
So how does the GMB work in relation to that? Like, do I need to backlink to the service area, to the new page? And like, does the bit.ly link go to the service area or the new page?
So
what's your strategy?
You're going. So for instance, give me the niche.
Well, like the towing. So
okay, so towing. There's, let's say with towing, it could be battery replacement. It could be, engine blew up. It could be just shit tons of things. Because I've actually done one really large one in Chicago, which is, huge niche, and it's very competitive, and we're still ranking. But what winds up happening is you have all these different service terms, right? All these different locations. And what I'll do is, for instance, the services, I'll link to the service locations. I do all the interlinking that way. Services to service location pages. Your GMB will link over to, sometimes I'll do it, and the same thing with bit.ly. Sometimes I'll do it to the service location, sometimes to the service page. I alternate. It's never always the same page. It's always one page next week, one page next week. It's always cycling. Because I'll never focus, unless I had a client say, I only want you to focus on these keywords, these specific pages. That's the only way I'll ever do it. I always go, what are your top, let's say 10 keywords? I'm going to focus as much effort as I can on all those keywords. And then all my backlinking will go on those as well.
So if there was an area though, where like you're number 5, right, in the map, and that's kind of like, as you go out, that's your lowest hanging fruit to improve. Would you work on that number 5 area for a while?
I would go for the lowest hanging first.
Yeah, like kind of hit that
the lower hanging fruit, especially like for agencies. Reason why I say I want to go after that is, it's just common sense. If you could show a client, hey, I got your ass ranked in 3 months or a month or whatever, however long it takes. The same thing with articles. If I could show you, hey, I got this article ranked and it's already ranking in 2 weeks, they're going to be like, oh my God, you're amazing. And they love you.
Right.
So that's the whole point of that. It's same thing with the hey, your site speed was an F and now it's an A. Is to be able to say, hey, I'm doing a good job. That way they love you and they believe in you. It's to establish belief versus a lot of SEOs will say they're doing SEO work and they're not doing nothing but, getting a check and cashing it.
Well, like Javi said, my guy, he just cares about call volume. And so
there are people like that.
Yeah. The bigger I can spread the map, the more calls, so
there are people like that. And that would be up to, your determination of what you want to do. I do certain things for different people. Like I do very, I'm working on like 3 areas right now: Miami, Fort Worth, and Dallas. And I'm going to tell you, I'm doing straight black hat because I know the area I'm at. Just like him, there's only one way you're going to get rankings, and that's by using everything you have in your toolkit. You're not going to be able to come in there and just, I'm only going to do one thing or this or that. I'm going to have to do as much as possible. And the guy, when he hired me specifically for black hat, so.
Do you wear a different hat when you do it actually, or you just?
No.
Okay. I would change my clothes, me personally.
I just get paid different. That's all. I come in like Men in Black, And
yeah, that's what like, was it Johnny Cash, so show up like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right, Robbie, go ahead. Robbie, did you email me this morning? I got an email from somebody. Nope, Brenda, not Robbie. Go ahead, Robbie.
Okay. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Okay. All right. My first question is, we have a practice that has 4 locations. And so we have 4 GMBs for those locations. Okay. But then we have 2 doctors that go to those 4 locations. Should I set up a GMB for each doctor at each location?
I would likely already tell you there's probably already a GMB for each of those doctors based upon the, I forget what it's called. It's like PP something. I forget. But basically when a doctor's licensed, they automatically get basically their own GMB. You'll not just have a GMB for, if you will, the actual locations. A lot of times you'll have them for the doctors and sometimes even for the registered nurses. And they're automatically created based upon their licensing information. So I would have to see the doctor's names and I would do some further research into it. And the reason why I can say that is I did one we were the only facility, we dominated over 5 hospitals in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's the 12th largest city in the entire, United States. So it's competitive. They had, we were talking about $1 million+ budgets, and we beat them with my little, $60,000 a year budget. So,
well, they already have one general GMB for each doctor, but should I make another one for each town that they go to see clients or see patients where we have an office?
I can tell you what I did.
Okay.
For instance, we didn't go to we had several different locations. We had in the same city. In the same city, we had Jacksonville, and then we had Orange Park. And then we had one downtown as well. All 3 of them had this. One would be, if you will, Polito Lung Clinic. The other one was a multi-specialty group. Then out of that multi-specialty group, we had probably 80 different websites and about 80 different GMBs, all at the same location, all in different departments. All had their own GMB, all had their own websites, and all had their own backlinking SEO strategy, Facebook pages, everything. That's when I was there 6 years ago. Right now, he's focused strictly to medical marijuana, and that was the last thing I got him ranked for before I left. And now he's the #1 doctor still for medical marijuana in Jacksonville. So
wow. So we have an office in Dallas, Arlington, Frisco, and McKinney. So there's 4 different areas.
If I had my tactic, I would have a GMB on every location, but I would also have a website for every location. I would have a different, whole strategy for all of them. I personally don't I wouldn't put them all on the same website, mainly because that's just me. I'd want to focus everything, like on your Arlington location, everything I want to talk about on your website is going to be about Arlington. Your GMB the same way. I just want to mention Arlington, Arlington, Arlington. If you're in Dallas, the same way. I just would personally, I would rather do it that way, because I'm not going to try to send mixed signals, because I want to show Google that I'm authority when it comes to, if you will, being the best medical marijuana doctor in Dallas, or the best medical marijuana, whatever is pain clinic, generalist, whatever.
Pediatric orthopedic. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, personally what I would do, but I'd also want, if you can email me, and then I would look at what's the competition like. Is it very heavy? Is it lighter? Is it medium? Is it low? What type of keywords are we talking about? What type of surgeries does the orthopedic surgeon do? There's other things I would look at, because I may not even need 4 GMBs. It's just me.
Okay, I'll email you that. Thank you. The other one is when you're saying ranking, that's like how you're ranking for the keyword. And
Correct.
then when you're having your GMB and it's pulling up, that's ranking as well, right?
That is right. You have organic ranking. Organic ranking is what's pulling up in the top 10 for Google. And then your maps ranking, or your GMB ranking, is how you're ranking in GMB, which can be totally separate from your organic ranking. You can be #1 on maps and nowhere to be found on planet Earth when it comes to organic ranking. I've seen it happen. Then I've seen other people ranking on the Google organic and not in maps, so it just depends
on what you have there. Okay. Another question I have is, I have basically 10 GMBs right now, and I did a post for each one, where they can also can I use the same post next week on the next location, or does it have to be completely different? Or can I use the same picture, the same copy, or can I do the entire thing?
I wouldn't. It's a good way to get flagged. I wouldn't do it. I would have a different picture. I'd have a different, content or copy, different links. That's just me though.
So everything different. Okay. And then the last question I had was, I installed the Chrome Crush or Smush for the GMB.
GMB Crush.
So I did that, and it didn't give me hardly any information. So I don't know if I did it right. It came across. It says it's smushing.
Email me and I'll show you. Yeah, email me and I'll show you. And if you ever have any issues with that Chrome extension as well, just email me and I'll let Matt know.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate it. Let me go over to it's Tyson. Go ahead, Tyson. Can't hear you. I hear a Mickey Mouse. I'll come back to you. Okay, Tyson? All right, Harley, go ahead.
That was too funny. I just want to let you know I was here. I'm Brenda, so I don't know if you wanted to talk to me or not.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I was like. How's Harley? So what was your question exactly, Brenda?
I don't have a question other than the fact that I'm confused about how we're supposed to meet tomorrow.
Okay.
Because
So
the first link
tomorrow,
you gave me, I could sign on, but it didn't really have a link. It just had a calendar date.
tomorrow is my Saturday. So what you could do and I'm going to be at a resort. So if you can reach me, and this is the thing, if you can reach me, because the Wi-Fi is going to suck where I'm at, then I will give you a call. And I'll just call you straight from, WhatsApp. So if you could send me your phone number, and then that way I can have it on my phone and I can give you a call so we can discuss what you need. If you need me to be in front of a computer, that's going to have to wait till at least Tuesday. So
no, I just want you to look over my website so we can hopefully work together.
Yep, Tuesday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday. Like my wife and all of us are going out this weekend to a resort. So
Well, do you have any openings for next week?
Yep, I'm always pretty much open next week. So
okay.
I don't really book too much anymore. I'm just taking on agencies. That's all. I'm not taking on too many clients. So
All right, just if you can send me a link so that way I have a meeting day and time. I'm pretty
Mhm.
flexible in the winter time.
Okay, we'll do.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, go ahead, Lou.
Nice. Okay, just a quick one here. So I've got some GMBs, and this is like for the Johnny Cash SEO people, so I don't want to offend anybody here, but I've got some GMBs in suspension. Okay. Can I go ahead, just cover your ears if you don't, can I go ahead and change the name while they're in suspension to
That would not be a very bright idea to do.
to a better name, and then work some magic to get it verified.
This is what I would think of first. So why did it get suspended in the first place, Mr. Johnny Cash? I mean, so
I don't know, to be honest.
If it got suspended because knowing that you're in lead generation, or knowing that you're probably maybe doing some things, Johnny Cash, that you shouldn't be doing, I would probably say you're only going to get yourself into more trouble doing anything stupider, such as changing your GMB name, because then they might just go, shit, he just did this while he's suspended. It's like, dude just tried to do crack while he was in jail. I mean, okay. Let's go ahead and throw the key away.
Do you just yeah, I mean, what do you just give up though at that point, or what's your strategy?
What do I normally do? I normally do is I would have registered an LLC and a DBA to begin with the correct business name. Now,
that doesn't work all the time, by the way.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know how you're doing it, but I'm just saying how I do it, giving you how I do it works. Okay. So I do the business name or LLC or DBA, then I do my aggregator citations, credit card information, all this stuff, even if it's a, if you will, prepaid credit card. That way I have some kind of information and data that they can't deny me is a legitimate business. Mm-hmm. That being said, have I also changed someone's business name if it's not suspended?
Right.
If not suspended. And someone says, hey, can you try to finagle my keyword in there and my location? I will generally start with, and the same thing I've done with Facebook, I'll start with one little thing and see if it will stick. I don't just go, let me change the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be definitely suspended. I can almost 100% almost guarantee that, because a lot of people will go in there, let me just, guns blazing, and then they're shot down and they're like, what happened? It's like, you can't just come in here and say, I'm here. Right. Please give me everything I want. Right, so you do little bit. But if I was to do it right, I would tell you, like, business name, LLC, a prepaid credit card, get some information out there in the data aggregators, get your citations, tier 1, the most important ones, not all freaking 400 spammy crap ones. I'm talking about, like, let's say the top 25, and then go from there. I'll answer these questions on the side once we're done. I'm going to answer these last 2 questions. I'm going to answer these questions on the side. Go ahead, Jarek.
I got a question in regards to call volume. I'm managing 8 different offices right now. And for 2 of them, I'm noticing a very big call fluctuation that seems to be completely random. Number 1, is there a way to find out what's causing the call fluctuation? And number 2, is there a way to see if your competition is having the same fluctuations? Because I'm trying to figure out if there may be, just regional fluctuations.
I don't know about I know you, from what I know, if you find a way to get it, I'd love to see it, but competition, no, because you have to have access to their data.
Yeah.
And no one's just going to give you that access. Number 2, if you're using, let's say CallRail, and this is one of the features Lead Generated is coming out with, their spam filter high level ain't got shit compared to what I've seen, at least.
See, I used to use CallRail. I stopped using them because of the numbers being different. And a couple of times I ran into issue with CallRail whole rail, where
Yeah.
their DID number was just going to nowhere. So all of a sudden we were, didn't get any calls, and clients were calling and the actual numbers were dead. And the only way to get those numbers revived was to contact their support and wait for them to, revive the line. So I just dropped all of that.
Yeah, those are the only, those and ones that Paul James with, he does lead, if you will, rank and rent as well. That pushes. Here's another one. There's a couple of them, but I'm waiting on lead generation or lead generated to come out with their stuff. And then I'm going to start pushing that, because you'll have the reason why I'll do it, not even rank and rent. It's just, you have clients like, okay, clearly I care. I no longer do her SEO as official as of today. I did a video, and I haven't even shown everybody this, but I did a video. She basically said her calls were not, and this is why I love call rail or call anything to call tracking. This is why you need call tracking is, well, my calls have slowed down. No, ma'am, they've tripled. And I can show you, you used to get 30 calls. Now you're almost 90 a month. You're driving.
But for that, if you're talking about the GMB calls, you can actually see in the GMB statistics, because it'll actually show you the number of calls day by day based on actions, right? So I'm noticing that it's kind of going, and kind of going down. And I'm like, it's just weird.
It also depends on, for like different industries, different days of the week. You can look at which days of the week are going to be higher volume. And you'll see patterns sometimes during the holidays, sometimes, end of the year, tax season. Just depends on the industry, really, for the most part. I just look over a period of time. I don't look at, let's say, because people do this all the time. Hey, I want to see what my 1 month ranking is. And I want to see, 3 months at least. And sometimes I want to see a year. That way I could go, is it taking a dip and then coming back? Or is it just taking a dip and staying down, nose diving, or,
Like I'm looking at that, so like from September 2020, it was around 90 calls, and then it went up to, up to December 2020. And then starting December 2020, it just started to drop. January, I'm almost down by half. And then February, another half. Even though my ranking seems to be improving, the actual number of calls is going down.
What niche is
dental offices, dentist.
I have a suggestion?
I would almost say probably, depending, let's say cosmetic dentistry, I would expect to shoot back up after March/April. But that's just me. Go ahead, Robbie.
We do call tracking, and what we did was we have like 20 phone numbers, and we assign a phone number to each marketing campaign or each profile, and everything has a different number. And so we watch monthly, and if something goes down, then we know what went down.
But how do you make sure that, what I'm worried about this is, like all the directory listings and the main website and the GMB, they should have the same phone number. The minute you start using different phone number on your GMB and on your website and in the directories, then I think there's going to be NAP inconsistency, which is going to create a problem, at least in my mind.
Well, all the people who are doing pay-per-click, they put a different phone number on everything. So we have a different number on our website and a different number for our profiles for Google. We have a different number for our hospital profiles. For everything is different. And so every month I get this printout.
Yeah, the way I do it is, for example, for social media, all the citations, all the web and on the website, even the GMB, I'll have one number. But on your GMB, you can have multiple numbers. So the main number that you have used everywhere, like citations, your website, social media, you can make that as a second number. But the main number on the GMB, you can make it whatever the call tracking number you want to set. And then Google will understand that, okay, you have a secondary number and you still have that primary number that you have used everywhere else. And that's also on that GMB. Then it will not lose its ranking. It will stay up and it'll be fine.
Okay.
And one more thing we do is we don't care about number of calls as much as we care about number of patients. So when people call in, and on our phones, we have the last 4 digits of the phone number that they called. And so we have a list every month of all of our patients that booked, and it goes across, and the last column has the last 4 numbers that they pop up if it's not our main number. If it's our main number, then we don't worry about. But if it's one of these marketing avenues, we have the last 4 digits. So every
Yeah, we
month we
actu-
see where they all came from.
Yeah, no, we track that because we have a new patient forms. So, anytime a new patient form gets filled out, automatically I know that's, it's a new patient. And we also track, whether it's a referral, whether it's, Facebook, Instagram, or whatnot. So that's also kind of in a manual way, but they can't skip it and say, oh, we had no calls, because I'll see that the actual new patient forms have been filled out. So,
So the
all
new
right.
patient forms, are they down in one particular area?
Yes, they are. Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
And so maybe that area is the one that's got is that Google only? Was it down?
No, I actually have a form within the website that's a back-end access to by the office. So, every single client that comes in, especially right now, they fill out the forms before they get to the office. It's part of the COVID mandate. So they gotta fill it out. So if there's an issue with the form not working or something, they would call the office and say, I can't get into the form or something. So I know that's not the problem. It's just the number of calls showing up on GMB, that's been going
your
down.
GMB is the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of questions. I want to answer these last questions before I get off here. So category is also a factor. Number one factor is going to be your business title or your business name. Your category is also a factor. That is correct. Some categories are more competition, more spam. I deal with locksmiths and garage door, so that should tell you about the type of people I deal with. So I know a lot about the spam type stuff, lead generation stuff. Is there a tool that tells you the number of photos on a GMB profile, see what your competition is doing? Yep, GMB Crush, Trisha. Anyone else using SiteGround? I will not use SiteGround. SiteGround is the Antichrist to me. I won't touch them. After I was paying them $5,000 a year, and when my 30-something damn staging sites got hacked, about 20 of my client sites got hacked, and they pretty much told me to go F myself. I told them, I said, that's fine, I'll switch. And I switched over to who I use now, which is HawkHost. I pay $75 a month versus $400 a month, and I get the same amount of disk space. I get unlimited cPanels, unlimited SSLs, all the stuff I want, 75 bucks. And whenever I message them, they can get on a phone call and handle it immediately.
Who's that?
That is HawkHost, and hawk as the hawk is a bird of prey. HawkHost, and what they'll do is unlimited cPanels, all this information. And then on top of it, I have resellers rights with them. I had resellers rights to SiteGround. I moved everything from SiteGround. And on top of the fact, because whenever it happened, they told me, they said, oh, sorry, Mr. Jones, yes, you do have auto detective malware, but it doesn't remove it. And I told them, I said, well, that's kind of the problem, sir, if you actually listen. You didn't even send me an email. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get jack diddly shit, but yet I'm paying for it. Okay. And then after they said, well, you're going to have to take care of it yourself. It's like, then what the fuck is this service for? And you didn't even tell me nothing. So I said, I'm going to switch it all over to HawkHost. And I had my guy, instead of, thank God I had this VA, okay, that knows how he used to work in IT. So normally a malware is like $250 to remove it per site. Imagine 60 something damn sites. I would have spent about $6 to $7 grand. I spent $500 with him. Okay. So me and SiteGround don't get along. When it comes to NitroPack, I use NitroPack, which I've told everybody about, and another plugin called WP. And that is something that Anthony told me about. And WordPress, host Python. I don't recommend SiteGround yet. I don't recommend, Brock, can you let's encrypt and use NitroPack? And then Graham says some other things you can use is Call Signal, Call Wagon, Call Sling. Who is Molly? Molly is in the back of our master sheet list. If you don't have it, email me and I will send it over to you. If you're having an issue with one of your listings, either contact Molly or go into the sheet. And if you can't find Molly in that sheet, then let me know and I will email it over to you, because I don't have Facebook access really except the new one, and I'm not sending everybody there yet till I got about 3,000 people and I see that I can actually have it. If you have questions about GMB Crush, send me the question and I will send it over to Matteo. and we'll get it taken care of. Send me your username and password. Send me an email again, and I'll resend it and make a video for you to show you how to use it, because I've had that issue, and every time everybody always has their username and password. It's just they don't know how or are having issues logging in. I'm going one last question, and I got to go because my wife's coming here saying, "What's going on? I want to go resort." So go ahead. Anybody? There was Tyson that sounded like Mickey Mouse earlier. You want to talk, Mickey Mouse?
Yeah. Do I sound better?
You sound a lot better. I seen your hat that said Alvin. I was like, oh, this is a prankster here.
No. Anyways, yeah. Sorry. Quick question. I guess it's more. We got a new client. This client signed up for a contract, and he's got stumped into a 3-year contract, paying $200 a month just for the website. That doesn't include SEO or any marketing services. Yeah. He wants to hire us, but he has a different URL, and he wants me to build the website on that URL. And he also has a Dr. GMB, and he wants me to use that GMB. Yep. So would you consider doing that, or because I'm pretty much competing against something that I do
it all the time, because I've had clients or agencies specifically call me, and you get a lot of these web design companies, which I can't stand. If anybody's doing this, please, for the love of God, stop. They get someone in a contract, and they own the domain name, they own the hosting, they own the text, they own the images, everything, and you can't use nothing. So what I do, this is just me, I'll go and I'll clone the whole damn website, and including text, including images and everything, and then we'll just replace the images and we'll replace the text that way. And we'll do this while the old SEO or web design company is still up, they're still being paid. And then as soon as I got the new site over, I tell them stop paying them.
What about the GMB part?
Who owns the GMB?
He owns it, but it's a chiropractor. It's after his clinic. He wants to stop pushing reviews of that and push the more. He has a Dr. GMB also, so he wants to use that one instead, or change that to the new LLC and just push that also.
Email me and I'll give you a plan, because personally, I never tell people get rid of GMBs. I use them as assets for different people. So, but I'll give you a plan and everything. I will talk to you guys on Monday, and y'all have a good weekend.